What's up everyone, my name is Alpha and today we're back for another Pokemon challenge video. Today we're on Pokemon Sun and today's challenge will be can I beat Pokemon Sun Hardcore Nuzlocke using only shiny ground type Pokemon. I surprisingly haven't done this, and the ground type Pokemon are like one of my favorite Pokemon in the entire game. It's part ground type, it's Garchomp, so it's gonna be an interesting challenge. But before we actually get into the rules of the challenge, I want to say a thank you to our sponsors today. Thank you to Win Racing for sending me this gaming chair that I will have more on at the end of this challenge video, so stick around for that, of course. But anyways, let's get into the rules of this video. Firstly, so it's gonna be a hardcore Nuzlocke. Of course, we can only catch one Pokemon per route, and they have to be the first Pokemon. They must be shiny and they must be ground type or eventually evolve into a ground typing. So it's gonna be pretty difficult, of course. As well, each of my Pokemon will only have one life, so if they do die or faint, they are gone forever, so we cannot use them ever again. Included with that, there's gonna be a level cap, so it's not gonna be regular gyms. It's gonna be based on each island kahuna. Since there's 4 island kahunas, there's gonna be 4 level caps up until the Elite 4, of course. And then there are no items inside of battle, and you must play on set mode. And yeah, a lot of restrictions, of course, but it's still gonna be fun because we're gonna have our own added rule for fun. Each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments, so thanks so much for leaving a comment in my previous challenge video. If you guys want to be named after a future Pokemon, just drop in the comments and hopefully I'll pick yours. And while you're down here, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Let's get into the challenge video itself. So to begin off, we're going to actually give ourselves a ground type Pokemon since you don't get one until a little bit after the first trial. So our first Pokemon is going to be my favorite Pokemon, which is also a ground type. We're going to give ourselves a Gibble. Since you can get Gibbles in this game, I think it's just, you know what, just give ourselves it. It's near the end of the game that you get a Gibble, and it's actually really hard to even get a Gibble. So you know what, just gave it to myself, free Gibble. Now, one great thing about Gibble is that once you level up to level 7, I actually didn't know this, and I didn't plan on doing this, but it actually learns Dragon Rage at level 7, so that's a pretty broken move. I didn't know that was the case. I just wanted to use Gibble. So with Gibble being our first Pokemon, we're able to do the first portion of the game pretty easily. We beat a Lima with Dragon Rage, of course, and then we're gonna face off against the Totem Gumshoes, which we're able to go for 2 Dragon Rages and knock out pretty easily. We almost actually one-shot it with just a regular Dragon Rage, so we're able to knock out the Totem Gumshoes and also the Young Goose, get ourselves up a lot of levels, and then from there we could actually shiny hunt in the Verdant Cavern in the first trial area, and we can find ourselves a Diglett. Now Diglett is ground and steel type, and this Alolan Diglett is actually pretty good. We're gonna find ourselves a shiny Alolan Diglett, and we're gonna add that to our team. Unfortunately, it does not have tangling hair, so it's not that great. I think it has the other, I don't even know the other, I think it has Sandville or something. But from there, we're going to face off against Hala next. Hala is the first kahuna in the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Gibble. Now, Gibble is actually pretty decent. We're able to go for a Dragon Rage in front of the Mankey. And then from there, we went for a Sand Attack, hoping he misses since he can heal up for sure. He Karate Chops and crit me. I go for a Dragon Rage. I luckily dodged the second Karate Chop, but I do have a Citrus Berry just in case of the worst thing happen. We're able to knock out the Mankey. From there, he's going to switch out into his Makuhita, which we're able to 2-shot. He goes for a Sand Attack out of everything. So, okay, 2 shots knock him out. And for some reason, I thought here I outspeed the Crab Brawler. I thought I just remember I outspeed him. So I went for another Dragon Rage. And lucky enough, it didn't go for its Z move, or my Gibble would have been dead. Went for a second Lyric as I go for a Dragon Rage. And yeah, that was my mistake. So we're able to beat Hala though, but that was really bad. We're able to beat Hala, and we can move on into the next island. The level caps jump to 27 as we move out into the water trial. We're gonna get ourselves the Scald TM, and then obviously use that for later on. From there, we're gonna go out and face off against the Totem Wishy-Washy, which this is an easy wash. 2 Dragon Rages will knock him out. I think Alomomola actually takes more Dragon Rages to knock out, so we're able to beat down the water totem, get ourselves the fishing rod, which we'll use in a little bit. We're also going to go out into this route south of the ranch, and then we're able to shiny hunt in here, which we're able to get ourselves a Mudbray, which we could have got earlier, but I didn't. I was too lazy. Got myself some Mudbray, catch it, add it to my team, and now we're going to go back into the ranch area, and you have to fish in this specific spot only when it's bubbling, so you have to reset the area each time. Don't run too fast. You're able to fish in the bubbling area. It's a 50% encounter rate, I think, to get ourselves. I think it's either 50 or 5%. I'm not gonna lie, to get ourselves a Barboach. So we're eventually gonna find ourselves a shiny Barboach. I'm pretty sure it's 50% because 5% is still ridiculous. So we're able to find ourselves a Barboach, add it to our team, and then from there we're able to evolve Gibble into a Gabite, which, you know, actually has cool coloring. It doesn't change that much, but I'm actually a fan of the Gabite sprite. From there, we're going to face off against the Fire Trial next. We're able to clear through the Marowak and also the Magmar. The Magmar takes a little bit because Mudbray just forgot how to see, and that's going to be a recurring trend later on. You will see later on. But from there, we're going to face off against the Totem Salazzle. We're able to just one-shot it with a high horsepower and take the Flame Burst, as we're able to beat down the Salazzle and then move out into probably the hardest trial in my opinion, because my team is all ground types. We're going to go into the Grass Trial and face off against the Grass Totem, which is going to be a Lurantis. We're able to start the battle off against Lurantis using my Gabite. Now, I assume Gabite might do a lot of damage with Dual Chop, and it doesn't, and it's going to almost knock me out with Solar Blade, as I'm able to go for a Sand Attack in my desperation. I know it's going to go for a Solar Blade as I go out into my Dugtrio next. Dugtrio is able to dodge the Solar Blade because Lurantis actually got Sand Attack, so it actually works out as I'm able to go for a Metal Claw. It goes for a Solar Blade once again. I'm able to get a crit and also raises my attack, which is nuttiest turn. So I'm able to go for a Sucker Punch and knock out the Lurantis. So from all the luck we got, we're able to clear through the Grass Trial without losing a single Pokemon, which is insane. We're able to clear through all 3 Elemental Trials pretty easily. Now from there, we're going to face up against Olivia next. Olivia is going to be the Rock Kahuna in the game, the second Kahuna. And we're going to start the battle off against her Nosepass using my Barboach with Scald, and it's not getting burned, so Magnus has got to do the job, as we're going to end up knocking out the Nosepass. Her next Pokemon will be a Boldore, which I don't have too much. I mean, Scald 2-shots it, which is nice, and then her next Pokemon will be a Lycanroc, which I don't have too much issue with. We have an Eviolite Mudbray in the back. Our Lycanrocs can go for a Bite. I go out to my Dugtrio, which does not have Tangling Hair, which is kind of annoying, but go out to my Mudbray, take a Bite pretty well. But it gets flinched 3 times, and then I can't do anything. So I go out to my Gabite. Gabite, lucky enough, gets a Sand Attack off. Gets 2 Sand Attacks off. Then I can go back out into my Dugtrio, which can go for Bodos, and then a second one would knock him out after that. And lucky enough, we have the Sand Attack on our Gabite. From there, we beat down Olivia, get her second Grand Trial out of the way. From there, we're going to evolve most of my Pokemon, my Wishcash, and also my Mudsdale, which is really nice. From there, we can go out into the beach hotel of the Grand Resort or whatever. We're able to go out and just shiny hunt for our next ground type Pokemon. Our next ground type Pokemon is going to be a Sandygast, which we're able to find out in the wild. Pretty easy, really cool shiny, add it to our team, and then face off against the Electric Trial. The Electric Trial is going to be a Vigavolt Totem Pokemon, so we're going to start the battle off against him using my Gabite, which will just 3-shot him with Dragon Claw super easily, as we're able to beat down the Charger Bug as well, and then clear through the Electric Trial. Now from there, we're going to move out and face off against the Ghost Trial, which is, I don't know, second hardest in my opinion. We're going to start the battle off against the Totem Mimikyu using my Wishcash. We're looking for a back-to-back burn to just weaken it at all, but it did not work out at all. So we're going to almost lose my Wishcash, even though I got a Scald off. I get 2 Scalds off, and then from there I switch out into, unfortunately, my non-tangling hair Dugtrio. So it's almost gonna go down. At this point, I knew I gotta sack something, so I sack my Sandygast, so I get something in for free. Sandygast goes down, which is unfortunate, but I go out into my Mudsdale, and Mudsdale for sure, since you know Mimikyu doesn't have the best defenses, can knock out the Mimikyu, but unfortunately, high horsepower, which is a 95% accurate move, missed in front of the Mimikyu. So I'm going to have to take a play rough. Lucky enough, I don't lose my Mudsdale because the Haunter goes for Hypnosis, and I go for a higher horsepower to knock out the Mimikyu. Works out, we're able to beat down the Mimikyu, and then I can switch out into my Gabite to knock out the Haunter. So unfortunately, we lose our first Pokemon through that, and almost lose our Mudsdale, but you know what? Losing Sandygast isn't the end of the world, as we're going to face off against Guzma next. Guzma's a pretty easy battle, as you can see. We're able to clear through him pretty easily, and then move on into our next Kahuna fight. We're going to face off against Nanu next. Nanu is the Dark-type Kahuna, and you can start the battle off against us using a Sableye. I go out to my Gabite, which will 2-shot his Sableye, which is pretty nice. I do have an Eviolite on Gabite, that's why he's taking no damage at all. Goes out to his Crocorock, which almost knocks me out through Eviolite. I do get a Dragon Claw crit on the Crocorock, which, you know what, I'll definitely take. From there, he's going to switch out into his Persian, which, you know, his Alolan Persian is part Dark type. He might go for his Z move. I go out to my Wishcash. He doesn't go for the Z move. As I go for, well, I go for Bodos. He goes for a Dark Pulse. And then from there, he still outspeeds me, and he's able to go for a Z move. I luckily live it with my Wishcash, and then I do no damage with Aqua Tail. I'm just trying to bait in the Dark Hole Eclipse, and it works out. As we get a lot of damage off against the Persian. Eventually go out to my Mudsdale to go for a low sweep, and then another low sweep. as he heals up, and then from there I'm able to knock out the Persian, as finally I have enough speed to knock him out, or to outspeed him at the very least. So we're able to beat down Nanu, clear through the next kahuna in the game. From there we can go out into the Aether Foundation, which we're going to clear through pretty easily, as in easily we almost lose to the Beware, but we got lucky. We have to clear through the Beware and then realized we could actually go into Hania Desert, which we can go back into and finally search out for our next Pokemon. We're going to search out for a Sandile most likely, but you can get Trap Pinches and also Gibbles, but most likely you can find ourselves a Sandile, which we found. We're going to add it to our team, which is really nice. Surprisingly, it actually has the right ability. So Mudsdale doesn't have Stamina, my Dugtrio does not have Tangling Hair, but this Sandile has Moxie, so it works out for us. From there we can go into the Executor Island, which actually doesn't work for us because we're going to search out for our next Pokemon. Our next Pokemon is going to be a Gastrodon, and we could find it on Executor Island. I just couldn't find it. So I went back into the Ancient Pony Path and then found ourselves a shiny Gastrodon added to our team, obviously. And that is going to be our full team for now. From there we're going to move on into the next kahuna in the game. We're going to face off against Hapu next. Hapu is going to be the ground type kahuna. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Crocodile, which looks so goofy. I'm able to one-shot into her Dugtrio using my Crocodile. From there, I switch out into my Gastrodon against her Gastrodon. I have Storm Drain on this thing, so I'm able to actually absorb the water moves and then hit it back with my Storm Drain. If it doesn't have Storm Drain, what Gastrodon ability does it have? Hydration? Does it have Hydration? I don't know. But from there, we're able to two-shot into the Gastrodon with Rain Dance up, and we also do not have Recover, so that's bad. But from there, even though we took a lot of Mud Bombs, I was pretty sure if I switched out I was gonna lose someone, so I stayed in, hope Scald would land, and it does. We're able to knock out her Mudsdale pretty easily, so 3 of her Pokemon are down. Her final Pokemon will be this Flygon. I go out to my Garchomp, and then I'm able to just knock out the Flygon pretty easily. From there we're able to beat down Hapu and finish off all the Kahunas. Now we're going to move on and face off against this Como. This Como fight is going to be pretty easy as I go out to my Garchomp. I take a Clanger Scale, which I'm able to just two-shot into him with 2 Dragon Claws. And then from there, I knock out his Hakamo and we're able to clear through the Dragon Trial, which should have came before the Kahuna fight, but whatever. From there, we're going to face off against Lusamine next. Lusamine is going to be the Aether Foundation boss. Kind of what is this? Oh, the Ultra Zone? Ultra Beach? I don't know. From there, we're going to start the battle off against Lusamine using my Dugtrio against her Clefable. We're able to two-shot it with my Iron Head. Luckily enough, it doesn't get to do anything. From there, she's going to switch out into her Milotic, and this battle takes a little bit because, yeah, I go out to my Gastrodon. I do not want to sacrifice anyone. She can't do anything to me except recover stall, and it does not work out too well for her. So eventually, I'm gonna get bored. I lower her accuracy. I go out to my Crocodile to knock out the Milotic, and yeah, that's how it worked. I just got bored. And I lower his accuracy. I'm pretty sure it's gonna miss its Hydro Pump because the accuracy was so low at this point, but I'm able to Earthquake into the Milotic to knock him out, and from there switch out into a Lilligant. I don't have anything to really switch out into. I went out into my Garchomp, which takes a Stun Spore, unfortunately, but I'm able to knock him out in 2 shots. Luckily, I don't get paralyzed because Petal Dance almost knocks me out in 1 shot. Could have been really bad. From there, she can switch out into her Beware, which I don't really have an answer. I go out to my Gastrodon, which can, oh, I could go for a Scald because it actually only used Pain Split. And from there, her final Pokemon will be a Miss Magius, which I go for a Crocodile. I crunch it and knock her out as we're able to beat down Lusamine. From there, we're going to move out into this rival battle fight against Gladion and also Hao. We have to clear through him pretty easily. The Silvally just forgot how to battle for some reason. From there, we're going to make our way all the way into the Pokemon League and into the Elite Four, where we're going to face off against the first and only difficult one in my opinion, the fighting type Elite Four member, Hala. So we're going to start the battle off against Hala using my Whiscash. Now I wanted to burn into the Hariyama, and lucky I did on the first turn. I thought it was going to take a little bit, but it's going to close combat into me. And then from there, I'm going to switch out into, well, I stayed in. Hala's going to switch out into his Poliwrath and then force me to switch into my Gastrodon, which actually turned out to be really bad for me. I was getting body up, but I got very lucky here. He misses a submission as I go for a body slam to knock him out. And yeah, it worked out for me because I was just running low on HP as he's keep doing this. Eventually, I'm able to knock out the Poliwrath, and his next Pokemon will be a Primeape. From there, I don't know what to really do. I go out into my Whiscash just to sack it, so I get a free switch into my Garchomp, which I know this Primeape has Outrage, so I switched out into my Dugtrio to bait in the attack. From there, I Earthquake into the Primeape. Unfortunately, my Dugtrio is confused because I used an Ipapa Berry, and I didn't know that berry was going to make it confused, so it hits itself as the Primeape also gets confused and hit itself. So it actually works out for me as I snapped out of confusion and Earthquake and knock out the Primeape, and it worked out. From there, he's going to switch out to his Hariyama, which is burnt. I decided to switch out into my Garchomp, which can take a close combat pretty easily. From there, I'm able to Swords Dance twice up in his face. I don't know if this is good enough, but I was taking too much damage. So I decided to go for an Earthquake to knock out the Hariyama. From there, he's going to switch out into his Crabominable, which I'm able to knock out with a Dragon Claw. From there, he's going to switch out to his Bewear, which has Fluffy, and I don't know if I can really kill, so I went out into my Mudsdale. Mudsdale is able to go for an Earthquake and then heals up with the Papa Berry, and then low kicks into an Earthquake will knock out the Bewear, as he does miss a Hammer Arm, and we're able to beat down Hala, and we're able to secure the first win. So from there, we're going to face off against Olivia next. Olivia is going to be the second Elite Four member in the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Crocodile. I really thought I was going to just one-shot this Relicanth. It did not work. It goes for Hydro Pump. Lucky enough, Crocodile has enough special defense to live it. I calc it, don't worry. From there, an Earthquake will knock out the Relicanth though, as she switches out into her Carbink, which I know this thing will go down in one shot as well. So we get another Moxie boost. Her next bone will be a Golem, which I can just knock out pretty easily, as he goes for a Steamroller. Almost knocks me out, but I have another berry up. As we're able to two-shot into the Golem, her next bone will be a Lycanroc, which can't really do too much to me, so I went for an Earthquake and knock out the Lycanroc super easily. Her next and final bone will be a Probopass, which I go for a Crunch, survive an Earth Power, and then go for 2 more Crunches to knock out, as we're going to conserve our PP on Earthquake. We're able to beat down a Probopass. We're able to also beat down Olivia. Now from there, we're going to face up against Accelera. Accelera is going to be the Ghost type Elite Four member, and she can start the battle off against us using a Sableye. I go out to my Crocodile, because I think Crocodile is on a roll. Earthquake to almost knock out the Sableye, as it confuses me. And then from there, she can switch out into her Dhelmise, which I go for a Crunch, as he doubles into the Palossand. And then I'm like, okay, so I gotta stay in here. I go for a Crunch and knock out the Palossand, and then from there, she switches out into her Frostlass. I really thought, since I was 2 levels higher, I thought I was gonna outspeed. I was like, you know what? I'm pretty sure I did calculate. I'm pretty sure I lived this with my stats, and I'm able to just knock out the Frostlass. We're able to live the Blizzard. I really thought I was gonna miss or something. I was gonna live it a little better, but you know what? 11 HP is still fine as we beat down a Frostlass. Her next bone will be a Dhelmise, which I'm no longer confused. I know I can Crunch and knock out the Dhelmise pretty easily. From there, she can switch out to her Sableye, which I know has Fake Out. I'm obviously not going to stay in. I go out to my Dugtrio. Dugtrio is able to go for an Iron Head, and 2 Iron Heads would knock out the Sableye, as her next bone will be a Drifblim, which I go out to my Garchomp, and then 2 Crunches from my Garchomp will knock out the Drifblim. From there, we're able to beat down Accelera and move out into the next Elite Four member in the game. We're able to face off against Kahili next. Kahili is going to be the Flying type Elite Four member in the game. We're able to start the battle off against her using my Gastrodon. I was looking for a burn against the Skarmory so I could set up against him, but it actually didn't work, as we're able to just beat down a Skarmory with 2 Scalds. From there, she can switch out into her Mandibuzz next, which you get a Skull Burn, which is actually lucky because it goes for Brave Bird and it does a lot of damage. So from there, I can switch out into my Garchomp to get +6, I think. No, no way I get +6. I think just +4. And then from there, I can go for 2 Dragon Claws to knock out the Mandibuzz. Her next bone will be a Toucannon, which I go for a Dragon Claw and 1-shot. Then following that, her next bone will be an Oricorio, which I don't... Air Slash and flinches me. The worst fate in the world. 20% crit. I don't think it's 20%, is it? 20% is crazy high. But from there, I switch out into my Mudsdale, which Own Temple comes in handy as it blocks the Teeter Dance. And from there, I go for a low sweep because I didn't put any rock moves. I go out to my Crocodile, which gets Feather Dance on, but I'm able to go for a Smackdown, which is 4 times weak to the Oricorio and knockout, which is nice. Her next Pokemon and her final Pokemon will be a Crobat, which I go for a Smackdown, and then an Earthquake will actually knock out the Crobat, which is funny enough. So everything worked out somehow, as we were to beat down Kahili, and we were to clear through the Elite Four. From there, we're going to face out against Professor Kukui next. Professor Kukui isn't an actual hard fight at all. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Garchomp, and then realize I don't have Poison Jab as a move or anything to handle the Primarina. So I was like, oh no, Garchomp is just basically dead. You know what? Let's just set up at where we can. We're going to go for a +2 with Swords Dance, and then go for a Bodos to knock out the Lycanroc. His next Pokemon will be a Ninetales, which goes for a Blizzard, but it misses. And I'm like, oh my god, this is the luckiest run possible. Bodos to lower his speed doesn't knock out the Ninetales, as it can just allow me to knock him out with a Bodos, which is nice. From there, he's going to switch out into his Primarina, which I go for a Bodos, lower his speed, but he's going to Moonblast and knock me out, which Garchomp going down, it's so unfortunate, but I go out to my Crocodile. Garchomp's help, I'm able to knock out the Primarina with an Earthquake. From there, he's going to switch out into his Bravery, which he can go for Tailwind. Doesn't really work out, as I'm able to 2-shot him with Crunch. From there, he's going to switch out into his Snorlax. I go for an Earthquake, Looking at the damage, I mean, it does nice damage as I'm able to two-shot into him. But his final Pokemon would be a Magnezone, which does a lot of damage to me, so I can switch out into my Dugtrio, and Dugtrio somehow becomes the Pokemon to tank the moves, even though it has so poor defenses and HP stat. I'm going to go for an Iron Head and then flinch the Magnezone, allowing me to go for an Earthquake and then going for a game, as we really beat down Professor Kukui and the entire game of Pokemon Sun and Moon with only 3 deaths. Not too bad. We lose our starter Pokemon Garchomp, but it actually works out for us. We actually set up Crocodile for the sweep, and it worked out. That should do it. I mean, pretty good. I mean, we lose a few Pokemon here and there, but you know what? Overall, pretty good. We lost more in the Elite Four than anything else. But before I go, I want to leave you guys with one special message. This video is sponsored by Ewing Racing, and they've sent me a chair. And you guys, I wanted to do a time lapse of me building the chair, but I couldn't. But here is the final product of me building the chair. It is a great chair. I'm sitting on it right now as I do the commentary and as I edit the entire video. I absolutely love this chair that they sent me. Gonna be more happy with it. The fact that it's really adjustable, so I could just lower it. I normally have an office chair. Me being able to adjust and then save my back since I play games all day, it's very, very useful, and it's gonna save a lot of years of my life. And as well, it's really customizable. Like myself, I do like the back support, but the head support isn't needed for me personally, so I could remove that if I wanted to. It's very adjustable. There is a lever to adjust your back, your posture, to lean back or forwards, and as well, it's very easy to assemble. It just took me a little bit, so I couldn't do a time lapse because I thought I was missing a screw, but I wasn't. Well, they're a very nice company. They're very easy to work with, very great people. If you want a very good gaming chair or just a chair to sit on at your desk, it's very comfortable and is very affordable. The links are in the description down below. If you use my code ERAlpha, you get 20% off your order. Just 20% off flat. That's amazing. That's a great offer to get. Hope you guys capitalize on it and just enjoy the amazing chair. If you guys do plan to get one, it is amazing. I am excited because I really beat up my old chair. So now I'm so glad. Perfectly timed this sponsor because I finally have a useful chair that I can sit on all day and just make videos for you guys. So thanks so much to Ewing Racing. I hope you guys all check them out in the links in the description. But that would do it. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you guys can, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, my name is Alpha. Hope you guys all have a great day. I'm out. Peace.